mentioned, oh, it's the Birla family in India. Did I speak to you about the Birla?
No, I don't think so.
Well, this will be quick.
All right.
I keep going tonight.
That's wonderful.
But yes, it was partially the fact that I started flying over these mountains and I would come back in time for class. I mean,
so you take a trip, fly, and come back? And,
no, that didn't. That sounds silly. No, but the point is, there was enough time between semesters.
Oh, between semesters.
For me to make one of these flights out. See, so, but I was getting used to the places I wanted to go to, and one was Mount Everest, and that's what the story I was telling you. But I did get to know the Birla family, and I'll tell you who they are. But also that meant that I got to know. Well, I was like a person adopted into a family. It's the only time I ever felt this. But they were the ones who funded so much. They're the wealthiest family in India.
Okay.
That's basic.
Did they find you? Did you find them? Or
no, somehow I guess I was in my wanderings. I ended up sleeping in the bed of G.D. Birla. They adopted me somehow.
Well, it's like the universe opening up to you because you're opening the universe up to others.
Maybe. I don't know what
you
it
hold
was.
the keys.
But it was so funny yes. And so the family, they are the ones who supported Mother Teresa. That's how I got to know Mother Teresa, through the Birlas. And so then one of my trips, that's how I got to know Mother Teresa, through the Birla families. And they supported her. The Birla family did. And all of this, sort of interweaves and comes back and forth. But the interesting thing here is, for me, that I wanted to, what it meant for me to end this journey. That's part of the story that with the high Himalayas. Not that I climbed them, but I got as far as I could do with it. Going up them, I walked right at the bottom, at the beginning, and I guess I went to Mount Everest about, I don't know, maybe 4 times or something like that.
But you did climb them in terms of those who had gone before you.
Oh, that's
in other
true.
words, part of the tribe.
Oh, the tribe.
So you have climbed those mountains.
Oh, that's true.
You have. They climbed them for you.
Yeah.
They carried you with them.
Yeah, I think that's true.
So you've climbed those mountains.
Right, yeah. But just quickly about the Birla family in India, that G.D. Birla was the head of the wealthiest family in India. Gandhi was his disciple. And Gandhi, we know, but it's interesting the way holy people are looked at in India and the United States. It's a bit different. I don't think. I think they're better at discerning holiness than we are as a culture, general culture. But anyway, this was a wonderful thing. That I can't remember how I first got connected with the Birla family. They live in Bombay, and not in the high Himalayas. It's a different area. But that's where I got to know Mother Teresa, in Bombay, Mumbai, as they call it now. Does that ring a bell? Bombay, Mumbai. But that's the way they and I really can't remember how I stumbled upon the Birla family. But then they looked upon me as a member of their family. Nobody,
so they could see beyond the tribe, which is amazing for a wealthy Indian family, which might have been very hung up on caste. And
that's right. The caste system was a big problem.
So they could see beyond it with you.
What is that?
They could see beyond caste, beyond nationality.
Did that, yes. No, that's true. And that was a great contribution of the West to that part of India, I'd say. And the British particularly. They broke that whole thing down, and but it was just wonderful. Learning, getting to know this family, and I guess I stayed at their home about 5 or 6 different times. As you can see, I was traveling all over.
All the time,
all
it
the
seems.
time,
Yes.
But I was teaching it for them and other things.
In between.
In between, yeah. But anyway, the Birla family, I just finished the story with this. They said, our father wants to go on a pilgrimage. Now this is interesting about the family. He's now about 90 years old and so forth, and he still walked, but he had some difficulty. And they said that they wanted to take him on a pilgrimage. Oh, that's a big thing in India, to go on a pilgrimage. And so they were going to the mouth of the Ganges. It's in the Himalayas, high Himalayas, yes, and it's in the mouth of, and then the river Ganga.
Yes,
we call it the
Ganges. Sacred river.
Yeah, it's a holy river, and that's where countless people go to die and be cremated. And I've spent a lot of time there. Naturally, you meet friends, and then I would stay at their home, and I could hear the pilgrims walking in to go to the Ganges in the morning. In other words, you could say it was an apartment, but it was a house. It was on the banks of the Ganges, and about 5 o'clock in the morning, out of my window, I could hear the chanting as they were going down to the Ganges, the Ganga, as they call it. And so I had these friends from Europe. These are friends I knew from Europe. But then I got to know the Birla family itself. And that's when it was so wonderful. They gave me G.D. Birla's bed to lie in, because they all had their own, and the father was out somewhere, and said, yes, you can have this room.
So what was it like? Very luxurious?
Well, it was. There's not exceptionally so, but appropriately so. In other words, they were not putting on any show for people. But this is my take, for what it's worth, that much of India, as I know it, I mean, it's my favorite country, as you might gather, that their spiritual consciousness is very highly cultivated.
Yes.
Much more so in the West, I would say, in general. But and so basically they said, my father wants to go on a pilgrimage, and so we would like. How did this work out? Yes, they were taking him on a pilgrimage. I didn't go on it with them. I mean, they didn't write me on that, but I happened to be there when the family was sort of pulling a lot of things together, and they said, the father wanted to go up to the source of the Ganges, and I knew about that. They told me about it, and then the next time I saw them, they said, we're doing a movie on the father, and they said, would you like to join? Yeah.
To be in the movie or to watch it?
To speak to it. No, I was. Yeah, that's the way. I mean, I've been so happy. Lucky that I was looked upon as a member of the tribe. They gave me his bed.
Yes, and that's the real ultimate crossing over.
I know you can't.
Well,
and then they said, "Our father is putting on this." They were doing his life stories, and they said, "We would like you to come in and talk to him, and that would be part of the show. I mean, this movie." And so I did that, and I was very about this man. I guess he's one of the greatest men I've ever met in my life. And it's India at its best. Yeah. Deeply spiritual, and very pragmatic at the same time.
Which is how he probably made money. And
oh, he was the wealthiest man in India, as
yes,
far as I
yes.
know. I mean, he and the two groups, the Tatas and the Birlas, would vie every year. One would be the wealthiest the next year, the other one. Well, I got to know the Birla, the Tata. I never met the Tata family, but I did know the Birla family.